But we thought Inland Revenue had dealt with that a month ago. Would you mind holding, Mr. Ringo? Thank you. Look, it's John Ringo again. Look, he's still after the interest refund on his income tax. Would you check on that for me?
Okay, I'll give Inland Revenue a call.
We're just checking on that now, Mr. Ringo. Would you mind holding? Thank you.
You said last year that you'd correct the problem with the interest, but my client is still being charged. That last statement you sent out was rubbish. I can't follow it. I can't understand it. I can't send it out like that. Yes, but that was a mistake. You said you realised it was a mistake and you'd fix it. No, they hadn't changed the law then. What I'm talking about happened last year, not last month. I wrote you a letter about it. Can you refer to that letter? Look, I just told you we didn't get a refund. You just allowed the same kind of deduction for another one of my clients, and this situation is just the same. Well, there's been an error, hasn't there? I've written you a letter every month since then. It's a birthday. Oh, come on, I just want the refund. You told me I'd have it in 2 weeks. I've allowed time for the mail. That was 6 months ago. Look in your correspondence file. Ah, finally, you found it. Oh, great, that's great. What? What's his name again? What's his IRD number? That's not my client. That's some guy they had up for $5 million company fraud. No, we're not frauds. He's a fraud. What? No, I don't represent fraud. My client is completely honest. Yes, he did have a nervous breakdown last year, right after he got that bill you sent him. $8, no way. You didn't send him a bill for $8. It was $80,000. No, he didn't die then. I'll tell you what happened after that. After that, he had a heart attack. Then he died.
Sound familiar? Well, we may have overstated it a little. But when people at IRD talk to tax practitioners like yourselves, lots of you say you're having problems. I'm Peter McCallum, and I'm here to tell you that Inland Revenue is listening to what you're saying. Now, IRD isn't going to promise that they can wave a magic wand and have all your problems disappear. But what we're going to do today is talk about some new systems coming your way, which are very definitely going to make life a lot easier. What we want to do right now is to welcome you to the future, and specifically to future Inland Revenue systems and technology. Now that's quite a mouthful. And to make it easier to remember, we use the acronym FIRST. It's a program with lots of potential. And what I want to do now is to outline some of the highlights and show you just what these new systems are going to mean for you over the next few years. As you know, Inland Revenue has been reorganising and planning for the new structures for some time. The Upper Hutt Centre was set up as a pilot before the new computer systems were in place to ensure time to get the people systems right. So any problems related to the Upper Hutt Centre should be viewed in light of the fact that centralised processing has not been operating with the systems it was designed for. From your standpoint as tax professionals, it's important to understand that the crux of the new systems revolves around two ideas. First, there will be central processing for all returns and payments. And second, district offices will hold information online so they can provide better service. In turn, agents will need to work with IRD using the new forms and processes. That way, you can benefit fully from the new systems. At the 3 central processing centres, each return and payment will pass through several stages. First, there will be electronic wanding of all returns as they're received. This makes for easy tracking when you have inquiries prior to an assessment or refund being issued. Next, data is taken off the documents and transferred to computer. This is called returns and payments processing. For ease of identification, the system is known by its initials. What the RAP system amounts to in the first place is a method for initial validation of returns and payments. The computer looks at the information and makes a preliminary survey to be sure everything is there and that it's all consistent. But returns and payments processing is only the initial step. Once the material's been through this system, it'll be handed on to another computer system called Client and Revenue Accounting, or CARA for short. This stage of processing represents the real heart of the situation, and at this point, material is put onto the taxpayer's account and the computer checks not just the single return, but the whole of the account. All this is done before any notices are sent.
CARA will either make assessments or prepare refunds. And if clients wish, those refunds can be credited directly to their bank accounts. Once again, speed is the essence of this operation, and information updating your clients' accounts will be quickly available to you. The real benefits of this system will be increased accuracy and timeliness. There'll be far less manual or personal intervention in complex areas like penalties and interest.
Moreover, notices will not be sent until the system has verified that all items are correct.
And here's a bonus. We've also talked to accountants about some of our standard forms, about our notices of assessment and statements of account and the like. When you get your first batch, you'll see how we've streamlined the design and simplified the language. Something else you need to be aware of is how the 3 processing centres will work with IRD district offices. Now, in the new system, your only direct contact with a processing centre will be when you send returns or other client information, or when refunds or assessments are sent to you.
But let's follow it through step by step. You post a return to the processing centre for your region. If, as a result, an inquiry arises, then the processing centre will usually handle it by issuing a standard form letter from the computer. If the problem can't be handled in this way, the case will be referred through the system to your district office, and they in turn will get in touch with you. But let's say you, on behalf of a client, have an inquiry. Then you will always contact the district office direct.
Remember, processing centres are there to do the processing, but the district offices will always have online access to information.
And what's more, they will now be able to offer you the kind of personal and individual attention that both you and your clients need and expect. The bottom line benefit of online service from district offices will mean that often a single IRD person will handle an inquiry or an action. What used to take 10 to a dozen separate steps, with different IRD people doing each step, will now typically be reduced to one person, dealing directly with you, on screen and online. And even when that one person can't handle the whole of your inquiry, the service we give, when you need it, will still be more effective than it is now. There's another new system being piloted this year, and next year it'll be available to all accountants. It's electronic filing of tax returns. eFile will offer you the ability to file your client's returns directly from your own computer via modem to the Inland Revenue computer. The system will be secure and speedy, and in the case of problem-free returns, Inland Revenue aims for a 14-day turnaround from filing day to the day when either an assessment or a refund is issued.
Electronic filing is being piloted this year by a small group of accountants, and next year it'll be available to all. In the initial stages, a standard paper system will operate alongside the electronic one, but once it's fully positioned, electronic filing will run as a truly paper-free operation.
Among all the developments we're talking about here, this one, eFile, offers you some of the most unique opportunities anywhere to enhance your service. Remember, your staff checks your own material for accuracy, then enters it directly into our computer, eliminating the possibility of intermediate mistakes. It's a simple and elegant solution. In designing this service, IRD has consulted people from accounting firms, along with representatives from the Law Society and software developers. They've all cooperated to come up with a system to meet real needs, as identified by accountants from up and down the country.
One basic aspect of the new FIRST computer systems is the client registration program. Client registration records fundamental information about clients, names, addresses, IRD numbers, and the type of tax each is registered for. The system holds basic information applying to all clients about every type of tax, even those which are not immediately converting to the new programs. Client registration means that all basic information about your clients will be held online on one system. Anything on that system can be updated easily and simply in a one-step operation. Things like address or tax type changes will be verified quickly and efficiently. In addition, information on the agents list will be easier to use and update. All that needs to happen is for you to keep giving us the most current information. We'll do the rest. A new correspondence system is also featured in the first computer developments. In future, when you write to Inland Revenue, or when we write to you about one of your clients, we will record information about that correspondence online. That means when you have an inquiry, we can deal with it accurately and efficiently, because we'll have the information at our fingertips. The computer will note when your letter was received, and the district officers will summarize its main points and outline any action taken as a result. The system will also maintain a file of stock letters to answer a range of standard inquiries quickly. Backing up this computer correspondence system is a method of file tracking, which will allow IRD to keep much closer tabs on all original correspondence, returns, and other documents. File tracking means all paper documentation received by Inland Revenue can be located quickly and efficiently, and can subsequently be made available to district officers to help when you have more detailed inquiries. A system called Returns Generation is also now in operation, and it will automatically print and post to you the required tax forms. Ultimately, we'll be able to customize your client's tax packs so that you get only those forms they need. Most of you will be familiar now with our new telephone answering system and how it's improving your ability to keep in touch. We've made some changes to it already to meet user needs, and that's an advantage of all the systems we're introducing. They're easy to adapt and change.
One thing we're certain of is that no new system is better than the people who end up running it. In the case of Inland Revenue, we've developed comprehensive, standardised training, much of it computer-based, so that you can be sure our employees will know whatever they need to know about each of our new systems before they start working with it.
Training packages have been based on real case studies and use the real systems. They're standardised to help ensure that our employees will be consistent in how they treat each situation. In turn, that should make your own client relations a lot smoother. In setting up FIRST, we've mentioned how IRD sought advice and input from people like yourselves who will actually be out there using it. But consultation's gone much deeper than just that, right back to the basic design and philosophy of the systems. IRD called on the knowledge of international firm Arthur Andersen, who have been involved in similar projects previously. Their systems people have been working right alongside us all the way. We looked at similar systems elsewhere and then went on to develop our own. It's taken lots of time and planning, and we think, frankly, it's all going to be well worth it.
Now, obviously, with something as big as this, not everything will be perfect straight away. For example, when we actually cross to the new systems, there'll be a short period where you can expect some delays. But we're confident that by the 1st of July, all systems will be operating as planned. We want to be careful about blowing our trumpet too early, but still, this new FIRST system really is something special. It's the largest development of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, and once it's all in place, it'll give New Zealand one of the most technologically advanced tax administrations in the world. And just for a moment now, before we get too satisfied with ourselves, let's go back to where we started. We don't want to say these new systems will solve all your problems. What we do think, though, is that they'll be a big help. And when a problem does come up, then it's a matter of us working it through between ourselves. With a little patience, we'll find a way around it. And remember, no matter how hard or awkward things seem, there's always a way, if people do it together, to avoid the headaches.